Hello everyone, it's January 1st, 2019, and it's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday, the first Harp Tuesday of 2019. I've just been recording my annual New Year's improvisation, and I thought, what better subject to feature for this very first Harp Tuesday episode of 2019 than a short episode about improvs and improvisation. So, and really, I'm going to offer you some concrete suggestions, but really, what I would like you to take away from this video is just encouragement to try improvisation. So if you're like me and come from a classical music background, improvisation can seem very scary, right? This idea of having no music and just making stuff up. But it only gets easier the more you do it. And so even if you just maybe make a New Year's resolution to sit down and say spend 5 minutes each day just noodling around, you might be surprised 6 months from now what you can come up with. And again, I think one of the most important suggestions I have for improvisation is to try and silence that critic in your ear, right? In your head. So that we're playing stuff, maybe many times I'll have thought, oh, this sounds terrible, this isn't worth it, and then I listen back and actually that's not bad, that's pretty good. And again, if we're just doing some free improvisation, we're maybe not going to create Bach or some really great composition that's been planned out and thought over, but we can create some great stuff. And again, try not to, as you're playing, have that voice saying, oh, I just don't think that's very good. Just try to turn that off. So that being said, I want to just offer two concrete suggestions. So, because it can seem very intimidating, again, just this idea of, well, I can play anything I want, well, how can I make it sound good? So one is to just with the right hand, just play around kind of almost like you're speaking on the harp, right? So playing around, finding random notes and thinking about cadence, thinking about rhythm, like poetry or just the pace of things, so that and sorry, I ended up adding a few actual chords instead of just single notes, but which is fine, but I just wanted to demonstrate that you can create something that maybe sounds pretty good just by playing single notes. And so I'm right now I'm in key of C flat, I guess, because that's one of the best sounding keys in the pedal harp, because it's all open strings, but set some major key, set some normal key perhaps, and don't worry too much about what notes you're going to play. If you feel like and so this sounded as if it wasn't quite resolved, right? If we're playing some notes and it sounds like, oh, this one didn't quite sound the way we wanted to, that's great. It's an opportunity to try another one and see if finally we reach a resolution. So it's just like we're saying some words and we almost, are we at the end of the sentence? Oh, well, no. Oh, yes, now we are, right? So again, just playing around. And again, maybe thinking of it as speaking and just those single notes. So, and the second concrete suggestion is to create some sort of recurring pattern. So, for example, let's say in the left hand, that we can continue to repeat so that we don't feel quite so overwhelmed with all this choice, that we have something that's repeating and repeating, and we can then mess around maybe with adding some notes in with the right hand. So let's take the classic. So we're playing the C in this case, sort of our root, and then the relative minor, which is A. So we go with, say, a root position C chord, 3-note root position C chord, and then a 3-note root position A chord. Now, naturally, any C's, E's, and G's are going to work pretty well after or with that C chord. Same as any A's, C's, and E's are going to work with the A chord, right? And we could start with that. Notice at one point I think I played an A 3 times in a row, but I played it twice in a row, realized I was intending to go back to a C, so then I played it one more time. In other words, so instead of A, C, A, I went A. But again, I mean, hey, we could go off script, you know. Which is great. That's the whole point of improvisation, is that there's no right way to play it. But by having that recurring pattern, that can sometimes provide a framework. And again, you'd be surprised if we're just in a key, how on the harp, how almost anything you play sounds okay. And again, what I would really encourage is just if this interests you, if improvisation interests you, give yourself that freedom to experiment with it without feeling as if it has to be perfect or amazing, right? So again, if you commit, say, beginning of your practice session each day to sit down and do 5 minutes just of free improv, whether you use either those two techniques or something else, without worrying about what it sounds like. And even if you sit down and you do those 5 minutes and think, oh, that was terrible, oh, I don't want to do that again, acknowledge that, but just go ahead and do it the next day and do it the day after that, and see maybe in a month's time just how that whole experience feels. So yeah, hope you, again, if you are interested in improvisation, I hope you find that 2019 is a fantastic year for that. And regardless, of course, of what you're intending to do in 2019, all the best and Happy New Year. Look for that improvisation, my 2019 New Year's improvisation, coming soon after this Harp Tuesday episode. See you in a couple weeks. Cheers.